I can't do anything about that.
Yeah, the models in our camper really don't do us any good at all anymore.
Trying to decide if I want to try to fasten and mount something like that in ours. Without ours, Greg Gray's got wood frame. That's got.
What are you talking about?
And they pass through, see that table?
Oh,
Sit there in the back. We'll get that table out there on the bed and pass it. But I'm not sure that wood.
When you give up a little bit of space over here, I think some of our stuff, well, I know if we had to blow out some of our stuff, we needed that.
Yeah, that's not fun.
Especially by the time I got through repacking.
No, I think I was putting in the other ones, but I had those.
Usually that's when I got through repacking.
It was hilarious. You could tell really hurt about it.
I wouldn't like. I'd already checked out the back seat, and I literally verbalized it out. Some of the she'll go in there and have to. She'll go in the back seat and figure it out before. I'm sick. I'm not. I'm a lot of things. I sure needed a liquid IV that we made it. We did fine.
I was just thinking Yamaha.
Morning, guys. Morning, everybody. Rv101 today. How many of you guys don't have a camper, or this is your first camper you've got? Not your first, I know that.
I'm like 4 or 5, bro.
Okay, so we got one first camper. Okay, good deal. All right, so we'll. Greg from our service department is going to pass out these little papers here. If you've got a first couple, if you're here with somebody, kind of maybe share until we get everything passed out. And I think we're going to have enough. So basically, what we'll do is we'll just go from kind of when you pull into a campground, Eric will join into as far as setup goes, what to do first, what not to do first. Kind of go through the process, and at the end, if you got any questions on processes or should or should you not do this, let's go from there.
All right, so this is for the new camper. First thing,
You guys have a travel trailer, fifth wheel?
Apex Nano.
Travel trailer.
Travel trailer.
Travel trailer. Most everything we talk about is going to be travel trailer, since that's what we sell the most of. Getting to the campsite. Before you leave, the manufacturers of all the refrigerators say 24 hours to get cold. They'll usually get colder quicker than that. There is an adapter a lot of people use at home where you can plug your camper in, say the day before you're going to leave. You can run your refrigerator off of that. No air conditioning. Tire pressure. Check that before you leave. And again, that battery needs to be charged. All right, and you get to the campsite. First thing we got to do is get it level. Side to side first while it's hooked to the truck. There's several methods, and I'll let Craig get into that.
Before going, if you can get stick-on levels. Get the camper level at home, put like a 3-foot level in the floor, get it level. You stick those on there. Some people do carry a level with them, but that's the easiest way to have those. And then as far as leveling, we got blocks. We got what they call curve levelers. Pull up on, get you up off the ground to help out, and then you can put your stabilizer down once you're level.
They've even got a plastic version of the old 3-foot, 2-foot, 1-foot board.
Yep.
But it's a plastic on it. So side to side first. Then you want a scotch. So it won't blow.
Yep.
All right, now we get the truck out of the way. The truck's out of the way, level in front to back. Then plug the camper in. And the proper way to plug in a camper, in my opinion, is with this.
We had suggested hooking up water first.
Yeah.
If that water heater was left on by mistake.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah,
I usually
check that.
try to remind everybody when you shut down, it's also very important how you shut the camper down. Very important. The reason I said electrical first is some of you have leveling systems now, which don't level it until it's plugged in. But hook up the water first.
Yeah, a lot of them, especially if you're using surge protectors, about 120 seconds is what it takes. It runs its checks, make sure everything's good, and then it'll let the power go through to your camper. So some people plug these in and think, I don't have power, something's wrong. It takes at least a couple minutes for it to run through its checks, and then it'll allow the power to pass through at that point once it's set.
If you don't have one of these, turn the breaker off at the campsite. Plug in and then cut it on. Especially if the water heater has been left on or something. When you plug in, you might see a spark. Well, that spark's going to travel somewhere. And it may be the neutral side, it may be the ground side, and then all of a sudden the water heater doesn't work. That's what can cause that. But we all highly recommend that you get surge for sure. If you do, tell your insurance company also. Some of them knock off some money.
With like the watchdogs, do people have them stolen very often or no? That's what was my question.
They put those rings on there to put locks on them. Generally, you don't have to worry about it in a campground.
That's what I
It's
thought.
generally, and I'm not going to say that people don't.
Yeah.
I don't hear people having them stolen.
Okay, that's what I wanted.
I lock mine.
But I mean, the lock's just going to keep
Keep it safe.
somebody honest.
Yeah.
So,
Somebody on.
Now, so it's walking around the trailer park with bolt cutters and you're kind of suspicious.
Yeah, most time when we ever deal with anything like that, it's where something's happened at a storage facility.
Oh,
I would say more than anything.
Yeah.
slide on mirrors. I've had somebody say they were taking in like a Walmart or Target parking lot when they were out shopping. Well, when you get set up, take your mirror extensions off, put them away. So that's just one thing.
okay.
So we got power, we got water. Before you light the water heater, run some water through, make sure you got water flowing. You can pop off valve on the actual tank water heater.
We have a tankless solvent.
It's got a pop off valve too.
Right.
But you don't have a bypass. Well, you probably don't have a bypass. There is some models that do.
Send you the model number. No, just kidding.
That's about what we would have to know.
Yeah.
In the brand. So after that, I like to go to the stove and light the eyes. Make sure they're burning nice and blue. Clean. That's gonna help that water heater light, whether it's tankless or tank. The old style refrigerators.
Especially if your
Good-
kitchen's
good-
in the
good way
back.
to make sure you know you got your cat. After that, camper's pretty much set up.
So for sure, I was crappiest job out there.
And that's gonna depend on where you camp at. Some places got full of hookups and some don't. Toilet, I'll let you get into it. We hold private. I pushed it last time, probably.
So,
We got some.
Get your sewer hose hooked up. Make sure when you're camping, if you are hooked up to sewer, don't leave your valves open all the time. Want to make sure you let your tanks fill up about 3/4 of the way full before you dump them. Dump your black water, and then dump your gray water and help rinse out that hose.
And I always use a chemical, preferably that one right there. There's some type of chemical. There's pouches, liquids, that one there.
It's got to make sure you're using RV101 toilet paper, so it breaks down with the tissue digester. This chemical here will help maintain your sensors, lubricate the valves, puts almost like a Teflon coating on the inside of your tank. So as long as you keep using it religiously, after you've dumped, that one there's 2 ounces down your tank. Make sure you put some water in there with it. Don't just put it in there dry, and then you're good till you dump again.
In fact, you should probably put 10 gallons of water in your black tank.
Oh yeah, just
Before
don't
you
want
start.
to put it in there dry that way. So when you're going to the bathroom or whatever, you're not getting there is liquid down in there. Otherwise, this will solidify and start making
The idea is to keep
Clogs
the
up.
liquid
Yeah.
above the salt. Most of this. A lot of people do actually using the pedal on the toilet. Most people like ease their foot off of it. Don't do that. Drag your foot straight back. Let that ball out snap shut. So you have to seal tight. Make the place down a little bit. But we see that a lot. And also, you match the pedal to halfway to put water in the bowl. Most people, if they have youngsters especially, as soon as the bowl is clear, they let off the pedal. And they might have put half a quart of water in there. And that's where you get into the issues that Craig mentioned earlier. When it gets about 3/4, just fill that sucker up, dump it.
Yeah. The other thing too is when it's not fully like up 3/4 or so, and they do a quick flush, it'll catch pieces of paper, and that paper will get between the seal and the ball, and then
Very true.
you won't hold water.
Very true. Well, very true. That stuff's great about keeping that seal in good shape.
And make sure you check the chemical, whatever chemical you're using. If it's above 80, 90 degrees outside, they recommend you double your dosage. Same thing on drop ins, that kind of stuff. When it's that hot outside, humidity and heat, double your dosage.
Now, any other questions on the dumping part of it? For new campers, that's kind of one of the new things that we need.
Just make sure you check your valves before you go to dump in the tank.
Gosh, a lot of y'all know.
You pull that cap off and that valve is open.
Yeah, well, others will never stand in front of that cap when you open it. Stand to the side.
Yeah.
Something may have leaked by. It's a good idea to have a milk crate. Works great for like some gloves, hand sanitizer, and a lot of the new models, especially, there's usually an outside shower located pretty close to the dump station area for those things. And with the good hose, you shouldn't have any problem. And after that, the camper, I mean, it's ready to use. We didn't talk about a pressure regulator.
Hook up your water, make sure you're using a water pressure regulator. You don't know what that campground's got.
They make adjustable.
They do have adjustable ones. Keep in mind if you got a water filter, you're using a water filter too, so all that will drop your pressure as well. I'm not going to say don't use it if you're using a filter, but you can take that how you will if you need to take that pressure regulator off. But you kind of see with the adjustable, you can kind of see what you're getting at the campground. Go from there. Yes, sir.
That's the place to put the filter. After water source or on the tank.
Water filter.
Yeah, filter for it.
I like the brass elbow. They make a 45 and a 90.
You put it
And
on
you put it on the camper.
Most people put it after the regulator.
Yeah.
Are you talking about before or after the regulator?
Or at the faucet
They
of the
started
trailer.
about before or after the hose.
Yeah. I always put it at the spigot.
I was, put it at the sticker.
Yeah, and then as far as the camper goes, I like a little brass elbow or 45 that you can hang a filter on and you hook your hose up to if you use a filter. Or not, either one, because your hose is going to get a little stinky.
Put it on the source of the water first, have the filter there, and then you put the regulator on stuff.
There's no right or wrong way. It's
On the track.
kind of
You gotta
preference.
mix it in.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, you got to get one to the end.
So you're
Now-
putting the regulator in one place and the filter in the other.
Well, I like to hang the filter on the side of the camper. That's what a little 90-degree
So
angle
you put
comes
your
in.
pressure regulator and spigot.
Yeah.
Always have
And
your
it doesn't
pressure
really matter.
regulator.
You know, we have heard of some people that have run in a regulator and they were at a place that was too low of pressure and wouldn't let the tankless water heater operate right.
If your tank
You
is in,
can run into that sometimes.
you might want to take it off if your tankless is not working properly. Those get finicky with having the right.
Gotta have the right pressure.
Now,
Stay high, not
Cam-
fix itself off.
Company Camco is coming out with a adjustable water pressure regulator that you can turn your pressure up and down a little more convenient. Kind of goes on your water filter, so it'll be right there with your water filter. Then water filter screws right into the bottom of it, so it's kind of a seamless piece. So you just change your filter up. The adjustment will be right there on it for the people that have those.
Does it say on your water heater what pressure
There
you
should
should
be
get?
something on there on the outside.
Like minimum 30 or whatever.
Yeah, there should be something on the outside.
Right.
With a little label, sometimes you
Yeah.
have to take your cell phone and kind of take a picture of
Yeah,
it.
and then bring it out like that.
Bring it up.
Just like that and
Now,
taking a picture of it, blow it up because I can't see it.
What level of pressure do you recommend?
45.
Those are preset to like 45, 50 PSIs with the standard regulator. They're preset. So,
Just like our houses, fixtures, faucets, and showers and stuff, 45 is all they like. It's the same way with a camper. The campers are actually air tested before the faucets are put on, and they test them at 100 PSI. And it's all PEX. But the faucets, if you're not handling that much pressure, they'll start coming apart. Now, tankless. How many of y'all got tankless water here? Ever get a little cold flash every once in a while? No problem there. What I was getting into is the tankless, they're kind of finicky. If somebody's in the shower and somebody decides to go do some dishes, your water temperature might drop. Those tankless water heaters are not like household water heaters. They're basically meant for one faucet at a time. And also, the little button, we all use in the shower, don't do it. Because every time you do that, you shut the flame on. You get a little shot of cold. It'll bring your temperature back up. So keep that in mind. They don't like more than one faucet at a time. Anybody have questions on the tankless?
I just set the tankless to whatever temperature you want from that faucet, shower and stuff like that. That's the easiest way, though, you just turn hot water on.
Yeah, you don't even mess with the cold. And it depends on how long it takes, and on the water temperature that's going in.
Yes, sir.
You have to bypass that when you're winterizing.
Some of them you do, some of them you don't.
I don't have to, but I was curious.
a lot of them, you
Depends
still
on how
run the
you can.
antifreeze through them, and then they've got a drain on the bottom of the line. You winterize the camper, puts antifreeze through it, and then you're just drain it.
And there's one brand that does have a bypass. And there is one brand, I forget the name of it, that has a bypass or drain. And I always call the manufacturer, look at the
I
manual.
would think it was gonna have bypass on it, it didn't have a valve there, part of it doesn't have a valve there.
The Furion campgrounds do have a valve. All of them do. Some of them recommend winterizing, and some of them recommend bypassing and draining out. It really depends on which one you have. In your packet of manuals, there should be a whole book on that water heater. If not, you can always call the manufacturer, and they will get you the info you need. You can get more information online now than from any of the paper manuals.
Camp, so it's gonna be tear down.
Yeah, well, tear down is pretty easy. And I will say one more thing about tankless versus tankless. It depends on how you camp. Which one is better? It really does. If you do like boondocking, if you go to state parks, you're gonna want a tank. It's gonna help you out a lot more than tankless, especially with the gray tank. The tankless will fill a gray tank very quickly. So if you stay at like a Harmony State Park or somewhere like that, you're definitely going to want a tote wagon. Because a lot of times you stay the weekend, you don't have to worry about dumping, but just one time on your way out. With a tankless, you may fill that gray a lot quicker.
Is that because you can't turn off the shower?
Yeah, you're going to use a lot more water. It's endless water, you know, if everything's right. Voltage, water flow, water temperature.
Endless to the extent of your freshwater holding tank, because if you're not hooked up to water at those campgrounds, you're limited to that too. So that's where you get into. Unless you're parked by one of them spigots there, you can come up.
We always cheat at our big camp house. We bring 200 to 300 feet of hose, and you could reach pretty much any spot in a certain area.
You ever use one of those emaciator pumps?
Yeah, and they're as far as just grinding it up so you can dump it out of a hose. Yeah,
That's what my mom and dad would do. They'd be 150, 200 feet away from the dump station and then just run a garden hose over to it.
their dump stations are at the beginning. Yeah, like
Yeah.
Harmony. So
Yeah. Come out and buys like that. Black tank, do that.
yep, you run everything. They've got them.
No, but you got it now. You got to be putting water in the black tank the whole time you're doing that, so we can flush it out. I have even apparatus.
Even with Camco makes them where you can, and there's other ones out there too that you can screw on. There's some you can hardwire in to your battery, but they are. It's not out yet. They are coming out with one that's got like a 18-volt battery, so you don't have to have all the wiring. Just put it on there, run the hose out. And then they're looking at maybe coming up with some other products that battery will work for it as well. So it's not just that one item. So, we should have those. Hopefully in a few months they'll have that out for sale. So.
It's all going to depend on how you camp, where you camp. Everybody. Some people fish, some people water ski, some people just do the spring and fall. Where you go is going to make a difference. Also. Any questions in general about while they're camping?
So I have found that it's not a good idea to leave the kind of black tank flush with the sewer hose, not to leave that black hose hooked up to clean out of it. Someone could walk by and turn your black tank vents on, and it'll mess you up.
Yeah, that.
There's kids. I mean, I ain't saying my dog would do it, but there's kids running around. Might be able to shoot youngster. I have seen a guy that happened to. When he come back to his camper, and it was flooded. Basically, it broke in. But it's not a good idea to leave. You know, you got your freshwater hooked up. You got black. I use 7 for each one. I don't leave the black hooked up.
Yeah, I wouldn't leave that flusher hooked up either. Yeah, unfortunately, there is some incidents that happen like that. Even when you're rinsing it out and using your flusher, I always tell the customer to stand there while this is happening and the black tank is open while this is going on. One of the models put the city water and the black tank flush right beside each other, and they were the same exact color, and it was an elderly couple. So he hooked up to the wrong one. And we get a phone call that the water is pouring off the roof.
Oh,
I was at the service station. And through my mind, I'm like, now how is water pouring? I said, they're dripping out of the air conditioner. He's like, no, he said, no, it's pouring. I'm like, there's no water lines up there. Now I finally called. Well, the only thing up there is the black tank vent. The toilet valve held enough that it filled up and pushed it up and out the roof. God, he was lucky.
Yeah.
The rest of them we see, it goes in the camper.
I know. One story, Brian, the salesman, Talladega racetrack. You go to racetrack, you camp. A lot of those, they have the bumper trucks that'll come by because you can't get out of there, and for a fee, they'll dump your camper for you. Okay, so evidently it was a new guy running the truck that day, had the motor on reverse. When he hooked up to it, the customer was not there at their camper at the time, or that that race goer.
Surprise.
And it was coming out the doors. It was coming out the top of the camper. I mean, that company had to buy them a new camper. It wasn't one of ours, but Brian was there and saw it. It was down from where he was staying at. But it just pumped everything in that guy's truck, shoved it right into that camper.
Oh, man.
So like Eric was saying, be there with your camper for one. That would help, but be there at that camper so something doesn't go wrong.
If somebody had been in the camper, they could have started hollering a lot quicker.
Yeah. That actually becomes an EPA issue too, doesn't it?
Oh, you got to bring in line trucks and all kinds of stuff.
Watch the movie RV if you haven't. That's a good one too.
All right, any other questions on the camping? Teardown's kind of reverse.
How many of you have ports for LP for outside grills, all that? Okay, everybody. So in case you don't know, if you buy a grill somewhere and hook up outside there, you cannot have a regulator on it. You got to take those off, or otherwise they won't cook right. So some people say, I've got this, but my grill doesn't work. Well, a lot of those have where you use the spin-on bottles. Well, that spin-on bottle spins onto a regulator. That has to come off, and an adapter put on there to go to that port underneath. So keep that in mind.
Well, it's time to leave again, son. First thing is to go in, and if you have slide rooms, make sure everything's secure.
And clear.
Yeah. And no little kids' cars or toys are left where they can roll around. I see them going underneath the slide room floor.
You're gonna try to sweep up the floor, so if there's any gravel, rock, or your feet or whatever. If you can access the roof of your slide room, make sure it's brushed off. Make sure stuff from the trees, small limbs, acorns, that kind of stuff. That stuff will tear up the seals when it comes in. If there's water on it, and you get home and you've got wet floor, there might have been some water up on top of the slide room. Once it's inside, the water's just going to go down, so it's going to go to the floor. So,
Get you a leaf blower, especially if you're a fall camper. They'll be cleaning your campsite too.
yeah, stink bugs. Greg was saying.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
You've got your black tank flush hooked up where you're getting water leaking inside underneath the cabinet. 9 times out of 10, the vacuum breaker has got stink bugs in it. Can kind of take the top off. They're not made to come off. I've actually talked to Camco about seeing if they can make one that has a removable top, so you can clean them out. But a lot of times when you take them off, you can just put it up your nose and you can smell the stink bugs. That's what it is. So when they get in there, it causes that not to seal, and then water leaks out onto your floor. So
Most of the time, those are underneath the bathroom sink. You'll see a pipe with a black elbow on it.
I think you guys had a water heater this week you were talking about earlier. Full of. You could have got another stink bug in that water heater.
In the water
With
heater?
light.
Or back
In
where
the tube there with the flame, yeah. Could not got another one in there.
they're getting the water heaters. Some years we have ladybugs that bad too.
Yeah.
And they really get everywhere.
Mud daubers.
Get the screens and stuff and put over your vent.
Yeah. Screens. Some of the tankless water heaters, they don't recommend putting those on there. But the older style, the tank water heater, we recommend putting those on there. Keep some mud daubers as well as the stink bugs out. So.
With slides, when you bring them in and you're traveling, do you recommend bracing them? With a pole or, to help?
Be careful if you do. Most of the time, if a camper is supposed to have that, it will come with the camper. Like the Jayco made a certain style for many years.
Holiday Rambler used to have them.
Most of the newer ones do not.
They're made to slope a little.
Yeah, and most of them do not. Now, if you happen to own a certain type of slide called a swim tech, and you have to manually push it in because of failure, you will definitely need something to keep it from going out. That's the only one I would know of. But generally what happens with people using those is they forget about it and they got kids or grandkids or whatever and they're in a hurry trying to set up and that bar's in place and they push the button.
There goes your slide fish.
It'll pop it right off. The other thing is those steps. Most of y'all probably have the steps that fold into the doorways now. When they're wet, water's all in there. Just lay your rag there
Yeah, towel.
and close that. And when you get to the house, open it up, there'll be some water there. It even happens when we wash them here. Next thing is disconnecting the power and the water. Actually, I like to do a walk through the camper. Cut the water heater off, cut the air conditioner off. I can't tell you how many times the boys pull them in the shop since we plug them in. Everything fires up. It's 120 volts. If they shut the lights off, they think they shut everything off. When they have the water heater still on, going back to that spark when you plug in, sometimes that's generally because the water heater was left on. Make sure and cut the devices off. I like to let the water pressure off the line. I also like to drain my camper before I leave. There's low point drains that hang underneath. There'll be two lines, usually text, right together. One will be hot and one will be cold. Open that, open the kitchen sink. You can kick the water pump on if you want for a minute. And of course, drain the fresh water tank. It's not good to keep water stored in the camper either.
It's rotten egg smell.
Yeah.
A lot of stagnant water, so in the water heater. So drain your water heater. Doesn't take long to fill those up when you go camping again. So keeps that bacteria from building up inside there.
And of course, remove the hose.
A lot of people leave the anal rod out of the water heater.
Well, I mean, that's how you drain it. On the Suburbans, that anaerobic, that's your drain. So just take it out and you can leave it out.
Well, when you say leave it out, we talk about stink bugs and ladybugs and dirt daubers. Don't go leave it.
On that style of water heater, you can have a guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you've got that screen on there, you shouldn't have any issues with that. But leaving that in there, I mean, that'll let any residual come out. That water. Like I said, those were sacrificial rods. Some people think that's to prevent it from stinking. I mean, it's not. That's just so the water deposits eat away at that instead of the tank in here. So pull it out, drain it, and then you'll know real quick when you go to hook up again. If you didn't put it in, you start putting water in there, it just waters the vegetable.
A lot of people will buy a cheap Harbor Freight set. We open up water heater doors here and we'll see a old half rusted ratchet and an extension and a socket and an over on it. And that's still the way I recommend to keep it. Teflon tape, handy little thing to have in your toolbox. We'll get into that and other stuff. As far as leaving the campsite, I like to drain all the fresh water out right there. And the new dumps on the fresh tanks, usually, they don't drain all the way home anymore. They're an inch and a quarter or an inch and a half to drain.
Some of them, yeah,
on the freshwater tank pool. Now,
Drains in a hurry. I love
yeah,
it.
it'll get you a little muddy. I know some customers are mounted pretty far back.
Yeah.
Got like an old on rod where they reach in there and pull and open.
Do you close the drain then in between camping?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close
Do you
up.
drain it?
Yeah, if you have to drain it, I would close that.
Otherwise, you get something crawling up in there. I had a mouse crawl up in mine one time.
And some of your low points are going to be valves and some are going to be caps. The best place to keep those caps is in the water heater compartment where the water heater drain. And rolling up your cord, getting the truck backed up, getting hooked up.
Remember to pick up your levelers.
Well,
I've
if
drove
you
off
use-
and
if
left
you
them
use-
before.
If you use X-Chalks, be sure you take them.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen that time or two. But I personally love X-Chalks.
Way to serve your hitches, make sure you've got your bars on. Drive away with those still leaning up there. We've had that happen before.
Get you a system down. A lot of times it's couples, whatever, you can't by yourself. Get a system down and repeat the system so you don't even think about it. You just
Create a
act.
checklist.
You just react to the next step. 5 or 6 times and you'll be surprised.
As long as you don't get interrupted while you're in the middle of your system.
That can happen a lot.
Yeah. It happened to me one time, and my wife needed something out of the camper, and I was still in the process of unhooking. And when I got done, I had been unhooked from the truck, but I hadn't pulled my tether out for the electrical, and I just pulled the whole pigtail out of the trailer when I pulled it off, and that took me about half a day to figure out all the wiring and get everything put back so I could leave the campground.
The wiring is their own animal. I have to
Yeah,
say
they
that.
are.
I always make sure you do a walk around before you pull out. It's the easiest way to
Got a tire gauge where you can check the tires, while you're there before you hit the road again. Tearing down is when you'll probably be in a rush. Sunday afternoon, you want to get home. Could be bad weather or whatever. Stay with your pattern.
That's another thing, if you've been traveling to or home and you've gone through some really bad weather, you want to get up on your roof, especially if you have a refrigerator vent up there, to make sure that something hasn't blown off. Because that happened to me going to West Virginia. It was a really bad storm. I didn't know it at the time, but then my whole refrigerator thing filled up with water and shorted everything out.
The roof vent caps,
Yeah.
they'll deteriorate over time. That's why we stress checking the roof so much around here. We do a special seminar. When I'm doing a walkthrough, I spend a lot of time roof care, but that gets into all that. With the modern changes, most of the refrigerators now are 12 volts, so we're not seeing as much roof vents in refrigerators anymore. But they are adding more skylights and different things like that.
attic vents.
Yeah. And they'll always be doing that. As far as the roof vents go, max air covers are worth every penny.
Yep.
Max air cover, I think, should come on. For those of you who don't know what that is, it looks like a little bitty air conditioner that sits over the vent in your bathroom or your bedroom. So even if it does come a rainstorm, you're good. Or when you're traveling down the highway, you're also good, because I've seen those vents blow off travel and start they blow off in the middle of the winter. And the customer hadn't looked at his camper all winter long. Go out there in the spring and the whole bigger or whatever. But Taryn, when you hook back up, make sure everything is correctly hooked up, looks right to you. There's one little bolt you need to check every once in a while on your weight distribution gauge. It's underneath. You know the ball, you have your bars that come in, and there's a little bolt underneath there. It will tend to work itself loose. And what that does is it counterbalances the shims on the top of the piece tight. Because you'll notice some, they're not perfectly at a 9-degree angle, they're at a pitch. So that keeps that pitch tight. And I have seen those loose enough that they need to be checked. I would recommend spring check.
I would just check it every time you leave the campground in your house.
Like I say, cheap set of tools.
Especially with these roads around here and roads you come across going wherever. I mean, they'll beat your hands.
It's actually a good idea from year to year to check your whole weight distribution setup, because your camping habits change over the years. You find new equipment that you want to throw back in the back of your truck that all of a sudden now you're sitting lower. And so you may have to move your bars back or
side to
side.
As you add things to your camp, check a tire wear, let you know how you're doing that. And the last thing, leave the campsite better than you found it. Always. That's a very important rule.
And drive the speed limit.
Yeah, and if you don't feel safe at the speed limit, slow down a little. Especially you guys with motorhomes or half-ton trucks with 30-foot boxes of campers. You're gonna feel the wind. You may not be able to run that 70 miles an hour, 65. Do not drive faster than you feel confident.
Yeah. Plus, just about anything over 65 really starts to wear and tear on your camper.
Yeah. They do flex when they go down the road. Any questions in general?
When's it gonna warm up, Eric?
I wish I knew the answer to that. You never know in Indiana. I've seen it warm up in February, and I've seen it snow. I personally think we're probably going to have a rough February and March.
It's actually not been that bad in January.
It depends on what you look at long term, man. We may not have even decent snow this year, it looks like. Middle of January, and we really ain't had one yet.
We've had snow 3 times up in Indy.
Up at Indy,
Right.
I don't think we've had over
And
2 to 3 inches here.
No, a couple of inches.
we've had 4 to 6 this time.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
On your mats, on your tank heaters, are they on a thermostat, or when you turn them on, are they on?
Yeah, usually they come on, I want to say 40, around 40 degrees. A lot of those are set to come on. So,
Okay. So once we turn them on, you don't got to worry about shutting them off during the day or
yeah,
whatever.
if you turn them on, they'll be thermostatically controlled.
I think it's 36 degrees on the tank. I think.
It's just like a heat tray sitting on a water line.
Basically, it just puts enough food there to keep it from freezing.
How good are them? How low a temperatures will them actually work in?
Tank heaters?
Tanks or tankers?
Well, it's got the mats under the tanks. The heaters are under the tanks.
Aren't the greatest.
Yeah, I'd have to check. Different manufacturers might have.
Ought to be mid-20s anyway, shouldn't it?
It would depend on if the belly was heated too, or just a sealed belly.
Well, it's a 4 seasons. I'd assume it
It's got
halfway
heaters
to
in
be
it.
sealed.
I'd just have to look and see what that manufacturer has them rated at.
Oh.
Like our heated hoses, the ones we carry are rated to -20. So I would think they would have to be somewhere close to 0 or below, especially if they're saying it's a 4 season. So I would just have to check with the manufacturer.
Well, if there's no other questions, we appreciate y'all coming. And if you have any more questions, you're welcome to talk to us individually. Might we'll see you in about 2 weeks.
If you guys register, come over and check in with me up here, and I'll get the name marked off the list.